All right, so this week I was a guest on the Reasonably.live podcast, and this is my first look at the world of podcasting. So I just wanted to show how Steve does his podcast, that being Steve, and show us what you're working with, because the sound on this thing is great. When I've listened to your previous podcasts, I'm sure I sound even greater than the greatest.
Oh yeah, you sounded fantastic.
I am the best. But
So
anyway,
this
what
is-
are you using?
This is an easy setup for how to do a podcast with basics. This is an iMac. It's an old one, 2012 iMac, I think. A USB microphone. This is the Blue Yeti Pro. You can buy it anywhere. It retails for, I think, $129. You could probably get it for less. It's a USB, which means it's going to plug right into the back of your computer, which is step one, or problem number one, in fixing the sound. Because you'll notice if you buy a microphone like this, the first thing you'll notice is, oh my God, there's a loud buzz in everything that I do. It sounds horrible. How could I possibly do a podcast like this? The trick is really just finessing it a little bit. And I'll show you what I do to do that. Problem number one, this microphone is made to plug into the back of the computer. The computer has a fan. The fan is blowing all the time, and it gives you a buzz on this microphone. You might be tempted to think the microphone that you bought is terrible. It's not. The microphone is actually great, which is why the sound is terrible. It's picking up the fan. It picks up ambient noise all over the place. So what you need to do, I'll give you a couple of things that I do wiring wise, but in general, you got to make your room quiet. Behind this camera that you can't see, there's a cable television set up with a direct TV box. That's got a fan. If that fan is blowing, you need to unplug that box. I've got an air purifier in here. When you're podcasting, you got to turn that off. You don't need to soundproof the room or anything like that. Just make it quiet. Anything that's buzzing, even if it's something that you don't usually notice, the microphone is noticing it, and it'll ruin the sound for you. So how do you get rid of the buzzing of the computer fan going? You buy one of these. This is a USB router with its own electrical system. I'll show you the box. This is what this is. Can you read that?
4-port USB 3.0 hub, yeah. And
So-
you may or may not need this depending on your computer setup, probably.
Well,
That's-
I don't need this to plug this microphone in, but what I need this for is to make the buzzing go away.
Right.
This thing has its own power source, so it plugs directly into the wall. You can also plug in, obviously, 4 things into it if you want. In this instance, I just have one microphone plugged into it. But when you plug it into this device, it's no longer picking up that fan, and it lowers the hum a tremendous amount. You do that and silence everything in your room, you're in business, except for one thing. Here is this is the real secret sauce. The fan, again, you can feel on this desk a slight vibration that you would never notice unless you were trying to podcast and sound reasonably professional. Here's the secret sauce. A pillow from the couch downstairs. You take this microphone off of the slightly vibrating desk that you didn't even realize was vibrating. You put it on this pillow. And that's it. I mean, that cancels out everything. You'll have great sound coming off of one mic plugged directly in to this rig without doing anything else. The pillow is key, and turn everything else off. That's pretty much it. I mean, the rest of it, it's usually recommended that you use 2 microphones if you have 2 people in the room. This microphone is good enough that you don't have to do that. If you listen to my podcast, you'll hear that the sound is pretty good with 2 people. I mean, I think it sounds totally
It sounds
fine.
great. There's nothing in the background. Silence is silence. Yeah.
So this microphone has directional options on it. You can do it where it picks up everything in the room. You can do it where it picks up focused on one thing. I have it set on 2-way, so it picks up this direction and this direction. And then I set it in between me and whoever I'm interviewing, and pretty much ask them not to tap the desk while they're making a point or shake it, and it's going to sound great.
And then what do you use to record on? So on the computer?
Oh, I use GarageBand. And that's really all that's necessary. Here's a podcast that Brian and I just did. I do one audio track and then I export that out to iTunes, and it gives me a whole new track. Let me see if I can find that, and I'll show you what I do with it. So here's the track. I just interviewed Brian, and you just take this track right here and drag it over. It will import it into GarageBand after a couple of seconds, and then you'll basically have two versions of the same thing. So if I want to move things around, cut something out, I actually edit on the original track because I have a full copy of this in iTunes, so I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about
That's the backup.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's there. It's in iTunes. So they both work. Let's just double check and make sure. I'll turn this track on. This is the iTunes track that I just imported. All right. This is Reasonably. We are happening. We are on. Hello. Okay.
Hello.
So that was Brian.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So this is basically a duplicate of that track, but now I'm safe. My computer could crash. As soon as I'm finished with this, I export it to iTunes, and I don't mean to the iTunes store. I mean to my personal iTunes player. So this is not public. This is just on my machine, but this is the full audio of what we just did. And then, I can put anything into it I want. I can put music into it. I can put the Reasonably theme song into it, which is something that I created myself with GarageBand. In fact, you know what? Here's an exclusive. Because this is the version of the song with words. The actual theme to the podcast does not have words, but this does. It's called Concentrate on the Sound. And, I was just making stuff up and trying to think of something to say when it hit the spot where someone should be singing. So this is what that sounds like. All right. This is Reasonably. We are happening. We are on. Concentrate. On the sound.
Ooh, that was like dot, dot, dot.
Listen.
Sound. Dot, dot, dot sound. That's good. You should put on a giant mouse head and stand in front of turntables and play that for the crowd.
Well, if you are a regular listener to Reasonably, you know this song, but you didn't know there were words. Here they are. So, all that is done with this microphone. It's a great mic, by the way. You don't really need anything more than this. They might tell you need more than that. It's $100, $129, I think I said. Something like that. Get it. It's great. If it sucks when you first do it, it's not the microphone, it's your setup.
And then how do you publish it when you're done editing it in GarageBand? How do you put it
Oh, well, that's a lot more complicated. You need to build a website. You can do it for free, sort of, on WordPress is what I use, but it's not really free. Like it's free to create a web page on WordPress, but you need storage space to put a podcast on the internet because they take up a fair amount of room. So you got to pay for that. So,
but it's not right. You can get a website for like $5 a month at this point.
Yeah, but you need to have enough storage space to keep putting podcasts on it.
Yep.
Like you can put one podcast on anything, but if you're going to continue to make new content once a week or however much you do it, you're gonna have to pay for the storage. So through WordPress, I got enough storage that's gonna last me many more podcasts, but at some point I'm also going to need to switch. I'm looking into cloud storage on Amazon. I think I can just put these podcasts directly to cloud storage on Amazon. It's complicated because, like everything on Amazon, there's no instructions. So if you want to use it, you have to devote a day and a half to try and figure out what the hell they're talking about.
No, but that is cheap though.
It's not only is it
ridiculous.
cheap, it's pay as you go.
Yeah,
It's
right,
like
exactly.
it's like so you don't have to the Amazon deal, as with everything with Amazon, it's a good deal. It's pay as you go. So I haven't used it yet, but I've been reading up on it and trying to figure out how it's going to work, because eventually the space that I'm paying for on WordPress is going to dry up. So I'll need more, and every time I add videos, that all just takes up more space. But they tell you that you can do it for free. That's an exaggeration. You can't really do it for free, but you can definitely do it cheap. And you don't need, I don't think, I mean, you listen to this for yourself, listen to the podcast and see what you think the sound sounds like, but I tweaked it. I put a pillow under the microphone, for God's sake. I think it works fine. I think it sounds...
it sounds as good as anything out there. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And so that's cheap. That's basically just the microphone and taking a pillow off the couch.
Yep.
That's it.
All right.
Good luck.